Inequalities. Okay, this is like a bit weird of a chapter because I really do not like this. Yes, I know how to teach it, but I do not like inequalities that much. Let's learn. It's in the course. We still have to learn it, unfortunately. What are inequalities? We all have seen the equal sign. What does the equal sign mean? That both sides of the equation, this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side, both must be equal. If you write 13 and if you write x, then it would be the same as writing x and it would be the same as writing 13 because these both quantities are equal. What does it mean to be unequal? Well, it means that it is not equal. Okay, now you cannot just put this and say, yeah, go brr. Wait, I think this is a question. Yeah, compute. Oh my god. Yeah, just say this. You cannot just go this. No, you have to actually compute it, unfortunately. Sorry, but you have to compute it. So let's define what these symbols actually mean. Okay, one is the less than symbol. Less than. Less you can think of as, A is less than B. Why? Because of the magnitudes. Okay, so example, here we have 4y plus 3 is less than 11. Why? Because if we solve for y, okay, then this value, example, let's take 7. 7 is literally less than 11. Okay, literally less than 11. So we say we use the less than symbol to represent that the quantity on the left hand side is less than the quantity on the right hand side. Again? Okay. Now the greater than symbol. Greater than. Same. The quantity on the left hand side is greater than quantity on the right hand side. Very simple. How can you remember this? Okay, we do not know. We do not know how to speak math. We only know English. Well, you guys can know what sign to put by just looking at the quantity. The arrows point. The arrows open up to the larger quantity. Remember how you learned about greedy alligators? Greedy alligators. This looks like Kermit, but these open up to the greater value, to the bigger value in magnitude. So you can think of them as like so, or you can think of this as the arrow pointing to the lower quantity, the quantity with the lower magnitude than the other side. Example, this is big and this is small. Since this is small, the arrow will point to the small. Nice. Now that we know what do these quantities mean, let's see what are we tasked to do. One is this symbol, less than equals to and greater than equals to. What are these? Well, they imply what they imply. This equation is either less than 2 or exactly equal to 2, depending on the value of x or the value of the variable inside the side of the equation that is here. Now if we just flip it, it will still open up to 2. Okay, so nothing changes. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Let's do some solving and see another property. Okay, one property while solving. equations of like so is that you might need to use, you might come up with a negative value that you have to multiply or divide by. Example, here we are solving this, we are quote solving this, not it literally being equal, but as an inequality. So let's shift this over to here plus x. Okay, I'm doing this deliberately. Okay, do not worry, I'm doing this by mistake. Negative 3x is greater than negative 15. I want to multiply by a negative number. I want to divide by a negative number. What will I do? Yes, you can just go on. Okay, go on. But your teacher will say that you are incorrect. Why? Well, unfortunately, you have to flip the sign. You have to flip the sign of the inequality. Why? Why does this happen? Well, the explanation I can give to you is, you know how in negatives, okay, on a number line, okay, when you multiply something by a negative, it flips over to the negative sign, or the negative magnitude. Same here, when we have the inequality, negative 3x is less than negative 15, it holds at x is less than 15. 5, sorry. So we do say that x is less than 5, but currently we are not saying that. We are saying that this is x is greater than, negative 3x is greater than negative 15. If we plug in a value of x, it already be in a negative. Okay, let's say this is negative 15. Plugging in a value of x, we do indeed say that x will be greater than negative 3, negative 6, negative 9, blah blah blah, until we cannot go, until we get to negative 12. Then we cannot really say it is greater than. When you multiply by a negative though, this flips, everything flips, everyone flips. This becomes 15. Now this inequality becomes 3x is less than 15. So it means 3x will be like example this. Okay, it literally flips the other side. So that means you have to flip the inequality accordingly. By, instead of flipping the magnitudes, like we obviously need to, yes, but we also need to flip the inequality sign to keep this thingy, the same. Okay, the same set of values that you find. Okay, now I am shading. Okay, you see me shading mistakenly. We'll come to this in the later half of the video. Okay, you can skip it if you want. Skip to it if you want. Let's do some questions, shall we? Solve this. So solving this, we get x is equals to 4. X is less than equals to 4. Sorry, my bad. Find two solutions that lie between 2 and solve this. 5 is less than equals to 5. Y. We need to put y on this side. Okay, we want. So how do you do this? We flip it, of course. Why? This flips. It points to the bigger magnitude. Okay, it tries to eat the bigger magnitude, or points to the smaller magnitude. And thus you can say this. Very simple. Now, what kind of questions say that to do two different inequalities? What does this even mean? This means to break this up into two inequalities. Literally break this up into two inequalities and then compute them. So we break this up into this half and this half, like so. So this is negative 1 less than equals to 4y plus 3, and 4y plus 3 is less than 11. Solving these we get, nice, we get that y is between negative 1 and 2. It is between here and here. How and why can you combine this? Well, you see that the mouth is onto the same direction. If it's in the same direction, we can literally combine them and we get this abomination. Now we get this. What does the question even mean? Write down all the integers that satisfy this inequality. Well, let's see. Y, if it was equal to 1, it will be negative 1. So it could be negative 1 or greater than negative 1. 0, 1, 2. No, not 2. Why? Because it is limited and limited by this. Y should be less than 2. So to make this happy, we stop at here. Boom. Find 3 solutions of the inequality that lie between 2 and 3. Sure. 3x plus. I think I've done this. Nice. 2 solutions of the inequality that lie between 2 and 3. What does it even mean? Okay, 2 and 3. This evaluates to 2.1 and 2.3 repeated. So we want something that is less than this value. Think of something. 2.1, 2.2. Nice. Great. So we have 2 conditions. X between 2 and 3 and x should be less than this. So that's our answer. One value that satisfies both of these 2 inequalities. So this is the same as the above, but over here. Somewhat similar. X should be greater than 4. Let's solve for x over here. We see these both are in the same direction. So let's look at this. X should be within this interval. What value is good? The mid value, of course, 4.5. Nice. And satisfy this. So let's divide by 2 on both sides. This is if we solve for x, we get negative 2 and 2x 4x2. So we get negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and limited by this. Okay, good. Let's satisfy this inequality. Let's see. This is 0.75 and this is around about 0.875. Yeah. So a good value would be something like 0.8. Sure. Fraction value fan, let's satisfy this inequality. So we can just cheat. So example 8 over 10, or simplify this to 4 over 5. Nice. Yeah, you guys can do that. You guys found out what this is. You guys can do it. I hope you guys understand what this is. Let's keep moving, brothers. We must stay focused. What is this? Insert the correct symbol to make each statement correct. You need to plug in a symbol. That's like my first time doing it. But don't worry, I'm here to help. Let's turn these into the same unit. 600 grams This is 15,000 meters, and for this, oh, no. So 0.04 centimeters squared. This becomes 0.04 meters squared, and let's see. This is obviously bigger. These two are obviously equal. This is obviously bigger, and boom, 1 mark each. It does not matter which one you have. It just matters which symbol you put. Let's put them in the same unit and you'll be good. What is this? Well, this is only unfortunately one question. So let me show you a bit more of these. I found limited examples, but I sure hope they are sufficient enough. Let's first do this one. Represent the inequality -4x. -4 is less than or equals to x less than 2. So how do you do this? Well, we start at 4 and we make circles at the bounds 2, 2. Now the point which the circle which has the equals beside to it, they will be filled, and you fill it together, combine them together. Now this is not always, you aren't going to get a closed interval like this. You may get other examples also. Example, and let's do this. Write down the inequality in terms of n shown by the number line. Well, how do you do this? Remember, when there's a not filled circle, when there's a hollow circle, it represents less than or greater than. Okay, no equal. It does not mean it's equal. It represents less than or equals. Which sign do we use? Well, if it's to that way, then obviously it is to this way, and must be greater than -1. So it goes that way. So the sign that the arrow on the number line is the opposite of the arrow on here. Get me? Fine. Next, write down the inequality represented on the number line. Here what I said before, -3 and equals to 4. Now here, what does this even mean? Okay, if we look at this as the examples I told you earlier, we split this into two inequalities. This means on the number line we have this going on and we have this thing going on. But since these both overlap, the regions that overlap between these two. Okay, these both inequalities agree only and only if and only in this overlap region. So that is why we represent it by using this notation, where this line here is the values of x acceptable by this double inequality expression. Get me? Okay. Next, finally represent this on the number line. I will use this one. This is the same range, surely. -4. This is a less than. It does not have an equal, so it will be hollow. This has an equal, so it will be filled. And since this is a Double inequality, we fill this. Why? Because this goes here, but they only agree in this overlap region, so that is why we make a line to show that x is between these two areas. I hope I can find more questions like this, but I really cannot find it. I will give an update video if you guys can, or if your teachers can. Okay, unfortunately. This will be later tomorrow. Something, I'm tired, you know. Yeah, so I hope you guys like this video. Like, subscribe and share. Support me. We are almost at 200 subscribers. Bye.